Hi everyone, welcome back to another Wills and Estates Wednesday. I'm Jessica Rafferty. This week I want to talk to you about the federal estate tax. And this oftentimes confuses people, and for good reason. And I'm going to try and explain something that I think people should start to look at depending upon the size of their estate. So currently, you would not owe federal estate tax unless the size of your estate was over and above $11.7 million per person. And then depending upon whether you do it right, if you're married, you can actually shield $23.4 million. And so you would not be taxed unless your estate exceeded that amount. Now, if it exceeds that amount, the tax is set at 40%, which is incredibly high, obviously. But most people in recent years have not been doing their estate planning with any real thought about the federal estate tax because it is so high and it doesn't affect most people, right? Now, that amount is actually scheduled to sunset on January 1st of 2026. And it's scheduled to go back to $5 million per person, adjusted for inflation. So I don't know what that amount will be, maybe around $6 million per person. And then you could potentially then shield $12 million per couple if done properly, okay? So that's what it's scheduled to do. There has been discussion among all these other things that I've talked to you about with that, step up in basis and everything else. They're talking about reducing that amount even more and doing it sooner than 2026. So there was at one point some mention of it being reduced down to a $1 million exempt amount, which would impact quite a large number of people because once you have your home involved, if you have life insurance, that is included in that. Then I heard some discussion about $3.5 million per person, also obviously impacting more people than what would be impacted at $11.7 million. So what I want to talk to you about, just because all of this is sort of so uncertain, is what's called the portability election. Okay, so what the heck is that? So if, let's say husband dies in 2021, okay? And let's say he's done everything correctly, so his assets pass to wife without having to use any of his federal estate tax exclusion, okay? So there would be no federal estate tax. And so then most people would say, well, there's no reason to file a federal estate tax return. Maybe that's true, depending upon your estate, but maybe it isn't. So what you can do is you can still file a federal estate tax return. Nothing is owed. But if you select that portability election and he dies in 2021, he's got that $11.7 million exclusion amount. So what that does is that passes on to wife his unused $11.7 million exclusion amount. So if wife then dies and that exclusion amount has been reduced significantly, let's say it gets reduced to, let's just use the $6 million. So instead of wife having $6 million that she can pass on to her loved ones tax-free, she now has $17.7 million of an exclusion that she can then pass that amount on to her loved ones without it being taxed. You understand? So she can take the husband's unused amount, add it onto her current allowable exclusion, and then she would be allowed to pass that on to her loved ones without getting hit with that 40% federal estate tax or whatever that percentage would be at the time of her death, because they were talking about increasing that as well. So I hope that kind of makes sense for you guys. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call. But I just wanted to bring it to your attention because there has been a lot of discussion about reducing the exclusion amount and reducing it very significantly. So it is something that you want to look at, because most of the people, honestly, that I have that come in that are even in that range, they've worked really hard for their money. These are not people that had this all given to them. And so they've worked hard for it, they've paid taxes on it, and they want to be able to pass that wealth on to their loved ones upon their death. And so that's certainly something that we would talk to you about. when you come in for planning. Some people, they say, that's never going to affect us, and that's fine as well. And that is a lot of people. But there are those that it does impact, and it is important to review. So I hope that helped. If you have questions about this, please don't hesitate to give me a call or shoot me an email. You can also drop a message below if you think that it would be helpful to a bunch of people. So until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.